Listen closely. There comes a sacred moment in life when heaven itself whispers to your heart. And that whisper holds the power to transform everything. You've been striving, worrying, and waiting. You've been wondering when your breakthrough will arrive, when the tide will finally turn, when your prayers will reach God's heart. You are about to step into a season where what you lost will chase you down, where what you prayed for will suddenly appear, and where the blessings that seemed delayed will overtake you like a flood. When God says relax, He's not telling you to stop believing. He's commanding you to stop striving. There's a difference. Faith is not struggle. Faith is surrender. The moment you release your anxiety to God, you make room for His power to move. The reason many people don't see the miracles they pray for is because they hold on too tightly to their own plan. They think if they don't control everything, everything will fall apart. But God says, relax. I'm already in control. You're not the one holding the universe together. Music I am. Do you know what's about to happen in your life? The very things that seemed impossible are about to bow to divine timing. That closed door that once frustrated you is about to open without effort. That opportunity that once slipped away will return in a greater form. The people who overlooked you will soon be the ones forced to recognize what God placed in you. Every tear, every prayer, every sleepless night, none of it has been wasted. God has been collecting them, shaping them, using them to build a story that will glorify His power through your life. The reason God says relax music because you have already reached the point where your human strength can do no more. You've done your part. Now let God do His. You've prayed, you've worked, you've believed, and now the divine cycle of fulfillment begins. Don't confuse divine delay with divine denial. The waiting season was not punishment. It was preparation. You are being prepared to handle what you once thought you were ready for, but couldn't yet carry. There are things that God wanted to give you earlier, but your spirit wasn't ready to receive them. If He gave them too soon, they would have crushed you. So He allowed the waiting to strengthen your faith. He allowed rejection to teach you self-worth. He allowed silence to increase your dependence on Him. You thought you were losing time, but God was investing wisdom into your soul. He was refining your character, deepening your roots, and teaching you that real peace is not found in having everything, but in trusting the one who gives everything. So when God says relax, it's not a gentle suggestion. It's a command for your destiny. It means stop worrying about who left you. Stop worrying about what didn't work out. Stop worrying about when it will happen. God is not late. Heaven has no panic, no emergency, no confusion. Everything you are praying for is already written, already prepared, already moving toward you. The things that belong to you are on their way. The people who are meant for you are being drawn toward your light. The opportunities that align with your calling are already in motion. You see, when God says it's all coming your way, He means that the alignment of heaven is now working in your favor. Things are shifting behind the scenes. People are speaking your name in rooms you've never entered. Doors are opening in places you've never been. Situations that look dead are being resurrected. What seemed impossible last year will become normal for you this year. Because when God steps into your situation, He doesn't just change your life, He multiplies it. Some of you have been so worried about your future that you've forgotten to live in the present. You keep asking when. And God is saying, when you rest, I will move. You're trying to push a door that only opens from the other side. God is saying, be still. I am the one opening it. Your anxiety does not move God. Your faith does. Your overthinking does not speed up His plan. Your surrender does. The moment you release your worries and say, God, I trust you, heaven begins to move faster than your fears ever could. Do not let the waiting make you doubt your worth. God delays nothing that is ready. If it hasn't come yet, it's not because He forgot you. It's because He's perfecting what He's about to give you. You may feel like life has paused, but God is in the process of setting the stage for your next chapter. He's preparing the right people, the right timing, the right opportunities. Everything you prayed for is being arranged with precision so that when it comes, it will fit into your life without struggle. When God says relax, He's telling you to stop carrying what He already promised to carry. You've been trying to fix what's not yours to fix. You've been trying to control outcomes that are beyond your hands. That's why you're tired, because you're carrying a weight that belongs to God. Let it go. Trust that the same God who gave you the vision will bring the provision. The same God who started the journey will complete it. The same God who opened one door will open the next. Every time you panic, remind yourself God cannot fail. You are not at the mercy of luck or people or circumstances. You are under divine order. Nothing happens randomly when God is leading your life. Every delay is strategy. Every setback is setup. Every loss is redirection. Every rejection is protection. Stop trying to rush what God is designing with love. The timing of heaven is always right. Even when it feels late on earth, some of you have been losing sleep over bills, over relationships, over dreams that seem distant. But God says, relax. I already have a plan. If only you knew how close your breakthrough is, you wouldn't be worried. You'd be rejoicing. The problem is not that God is silent. The problem is that your worry is louder than His whisper. God is speaking peace, but you are tuned to fear. Shift your frequency. Tune your heart to faith. Start saying, it's coming. I may not see it yet, but it's on the way. When you align your words with God's promises, you activate the supernatural. Speak what God has declared. Speak abundance when you see lack. Speak peace when you feel chaos. Speak victory when you face battle. The more you speak in alignment with divine truth, the faster your reality begins to shift. Your words are not powerless. Every declaration of faith becomes a seed in the soil of time. And soon, those seeds will bloom into manifestations that will leave you in all of God's precision. God is not asking you to understand everything. He's asking you to trust Him through everything. The blessing is not in the knowing, it's in the believing. You don't need to figure out how it's coming. You just need to believe that it's coming. Because when God says it's all coming your way, He means blessings you didn't work for, favor you didn't earn, and opportunities that you couldn't create. Things are about to align so perfectly that people will ask how you did it. And you will simply say, Cud. Even the battles you fought were not to destroy you. They were to prepare you for what's coming. You cannot carry abundance with a weak spirit. You cannot walk into destiny with a fearful heart. That's why God allowed the pressure. He was building spiritual strength inside you. He was proving to you that you can survive storms that would break others. Music. Now that you have learned endurance, you are ready for overflow. Relax. Not because everything is perfect, but because God is perfect. Relax. Not because the path is easy, but because you know who walks with you. Relax because your destiny is not in the hands of people. It's in the hands of God. Every time you let fear go, you make room for faith to grow. Every time you release control, you invite miracles to flow. And when the blessings begin to come, they won't come in small portions. They will come suddenly, overwhelmingly, abundantly. You will not have to chase them. They will chase you. You will not have to beg for them. They will find you. God has already appointed the right time. And that time is closer than you think. When God says relax, it means you are stepping out of the struggle and into divine flow. It means you have entered the realm where faith replaces fear and surrender replaces striving. God never designed you to live in panic. Worry was never meant to be your portion. Anxiety was never supposed to be your companion. God wants you to live with peace in your heart even when there is chaos around you. He wants you to walk through storms with calm assurance that He is still in control. The same power that created the heavens is working in your situation. And if you truly believe that you can rest without fear, you see many people pray but few truly rest. They pray and then worry again. They believe for a moment and then start doubting the next. But real faith is not about constantly checking whether God is moving. It's about knowing that He is even when everything looks still. God moves quietly, powerfully, and perfectly. Just because you can't see movement doesn't mean there is no progress. When a seed is planted, nothing seems to be happening on the surface, but under the soil, life is forming, roots are spreading, and soon it breaks forth in strength. That is what God is doing in your life right now. Beneath the silence, there is movement. Beneath the waiting, there is divine growth. Relax, because what belongs to you cannot miss you. What is ordained by God cannot be stolen, delayed forever, or replaced. People may try to take credit. Circumstances may seem to shift against you. But when God has decided to bless you, no one can stand in His way. What He decrees cannot be reversed. That is why you don't need to compete, compare, or chase. You only need to align yourself with God's rhythm and let His will unfold naturally. Music. When you trust in His timing, everything begins to work together in perfect harmony. There is a peace that comes when you realize that nothing surprises God. You didn't take a wrong turn. It was part of the plan. You didn't miss your opportunity. It's being reserved for the appointed time. Every closed door was protection. Music, every no was redirection. Every delay was preservation. God knew that if certain things came too early, they would have destroyed your focus. So instead of forcing what wasn't ready, He delayed it so it could mature, and so you could mature with it. Sometimes the greatest sign that you're close to your blessing is when everything around you begins to feel like pressure. It's like the last stage before birth. The contractions are painful, but they're also proof that something is about to be delivered. When life starts pressing you on all sides, when you feel like you can't hold on anymore, that's not the end. It's the sign that the new beginning is near. God often allows the final test right before the manifestation. So don't let the pressure break you. Let it prepare you. Relax, because God never forgets the faith of those who trust Him in silence. He remembers the nights you cried but still prayed. He remembers the mornings you woke up weary but kept believing. He remembers when everyone else gave up on you, but you refused to give up on Him. Those silent seasons were not wasted. They became proof of your loyalty. And God rewards loyalty. He will not allow you to end this season the same way you entered it. He is about to turn what looked like delay into divine acceleration. What would have taken years will happen in moments because you trusted His process. God is teaching you that His pace is perfection. What feels slow to you is actually divine precision. Every second of waiting is shaping you into the person who can handle what's coming. Sometimes the blessing is not delayed. The person meant to carry it is still being refined. And when the refining is complete, the blessing comes with no sorrow attached. That is why God says, relax. You don't need to rush destiny. What's yours is secure. Let me tell you something powerful. When you live in peace, you attract what you were once chasing. Peace has magnetic power. When your spirit is calm and aligned with God, opportunities begin to locate you. Doors open naturally. People are drawn to your energy without you trying to impress them. That's because divine favor flows through a rested heart. When you're anxious, you block blessings, but when you're peaceful, you invite them. God operates best in stillness, not in panic. This is why it's so important to keep your heart quiet before God. Stop letting fear make your decisions. Stop letting worry interpret your reality. You are not what your circumstances say you are. You are what God has declared you to be. Even if life seems unfair right now, remind yourself that God has the final word. People can speak against you. Situations can rise against you, but nothing can override what God has written about your life. Every time you feel pressure building, every time fear whispers that it's too late, remind yourself of this truth. You are on divine schedule. God doesn't operate according to human calendars. He doesn't panic because of deadlines. What looks late to you is perfectly on time for Him. God doesn't need time. He uses time. And when the right moment arrives, things that were stagnant for years can shift in a single day. Relax. Music, because the same God who carried you through the wilderness will carry you into abundance. The same power that sustained you when you had nothing will multiply what you have now. God is not finished with you. The delays, the disappointments, the rejections, all of them were tools to train your spirit. You are stronger than before, wiser than before, deeper than before. And when you finally receive what's coming, you'll realize that every struggle was necessary. You see, sometimes God hides blessings in hardship. What looks like loss is often an invitation to greater gain. When God removes something, it's not subtraction. It's preparation for multiplication. Stop mourning what He has taken. It was never meant to stay. If it could be taken, it wasn't your foundation. God removes what's unstable so that He can replace it with what's unshakable. Relax, because what is ahead of you is far greater than what is behind you. The pain you endured was not punishment. It was positioning. The waiting you experienced was not delay. It was design. God has been preparing a table for you, not just to feed you, but to honor you. You will eat in peace where you once fought in tears. You will rest where you once wrestled. You will smile where you once wept. And hear this, when God starts to release what belongs to you, you won't have to force it. It will come naturally, easily, gracefully. The right people will show up without manipulation. The right opportunities will appear without chasing. You won't have to beg, prove, or explain, because what's ordained doesn't require validation. When something is meant for you, even time cannot deny it. So stop trying to figure everything out. Faith is not about understanding. It's about trusting. You may not know how, but you know who. And that is enough. God doesn't need your strategy. He needs your surrender. When you finally let go of control, you step into His rhythm of grace. You stop surviving and start flowing. You stop pushing and start allowing. That's when life becomes lighter, because you're no longer carrying what was never yours to carry. The truth is, many people are tired, not because they've worked too hard, but because they've worried too much. Worry drains you more than effort ever will. Anxiety steals more energy than any battle. But when you truly trust God, peace becomes your power. You walk differently. You think differently. You speak differently. You become unshakable because your peace is rooted in something eternal, not temporary. When storms rise, you no longer panic. You remember who controls the wind. When doors close, you don't despair. You trust that new ones are being built. When people leave, you don't chase. You know that divine alignment is happening. This is what it means to relax in God. It's not laziness. It's spiritual maturity. It's the posture of a heart that knows, if God said it, it will happen. Even when the enemy tries to whisper that it's over, remind yourself that God never ends a story in defeat. Every challenge carries a hidden blessing. Every fall carries a seed of great arise. You might not see it yet, but heaven is rearranging things in your favor. The blessing might be silent now, but it is not absent. God is faithful to complete what He began. There comes a sacred point in your journey when you must realize that rest is not weakness. It is wisdom. God does not call you to exhaustion. He calls you to alignment. You cannot receive divine guidance if your heart is full of noise. You cannot hear the voice of direction if your mind is full of worry. God speaks clearest to the heart that is still. That is why when He says relax, it is not a suggestion. It is an invitation into intimacy. It is His way of saying, be still and know that I am God. In the quietness of trust, the greatest miracles are conceived. When you relax in faith, you are not doing nothing. You are doing the most powerful thing a believer can do. You are declaring that your confidence is not in circumstances, but in God Himself. You are saying, even if I see no signs, I will still trust. Even if everything looks broken, I will still believe. And that kind of faith shakes the heavens. It tells God that you are ready to live not by sight, but by the unshakable truth that He is faithful to every promise He has ever made. There is a reason why peace is the atmosphere of miracles. When you are anxious, you close your spirit to divine flow. When you are calm, you open the door for supernatural movement. Anxiety speaks the language of fear. Peace speaks the language of trust, and God responds to trust. You may think nothing is happening, but peace is the proof that something is shifting. The moment you stop worrying, you make space for divine orchestration. God cannot feel hands that are clenched in control. He feels the hands that are open in surrender. The reason you have not seen the fullness of your breakthrough yet is not because God has forgotten you. It's because He is perfecting your capacity to hold it. Blessings require structure. Favor requires readiness. If God gave you everything you prayed for right now, could you handle it? Could you sustain it? Could you remain humble under it? God withholds nothing good, but He waits until your foundation is strong enough to carry the weight of what He is about to release. So relax. Not because you are giving up, but because you understand that divine timing is the highest form of wisdom. Think of how nature operates under divine order. The tree never worries about its growth. The river never doubts its course. Everything in creation flows effortlessly within the rhythm God established. Yet, we who are given reason and will often resist that rhythm with our impatience. We want instant results in a world designed for process. But the same God who brings the sunrise at its appointed hour will bring your breakthrough at yours. No delay in His kingdom is ever wasted. Every waiting season has purpose. Every silent phase has instruction. And every setback contains a hidden lesson. Because God is never in a hurry. Yet He is never late. He moves in precision, not haste. He allows certain seasons of stillness to expose what cannot go with you into your next level. He removes relationships that drain your energy, opportunities that distract your focus, and habits that weaken your spirit. You may not understand it now, but one day you will look back and thank God for every unanswered prayer, every delay, every detour, because it was all guiding you toward the path that was meant for you from the beginning. There is divine wisdom in learning to let go. Some of you are holding on to people, plans, and places that God has already released you from. You are fighting to resurrect what God buried, and that is why your spirit is tired. You cannot move forward while holding on to what is behind you. God cannot fill your hands with new blessings while they are gripping old burdens. The moment you release what no longer serves your growth, new doors will open. Divine replacement always follows divine release. Do not confuse comfort with peace. Some things feel familiar but are no longer fruitful. God will sometimes shake your comfort zone not to punish you but to position you. The discomfort you feel is often the signal that elevation is near. You prayed for growth and God is answering through stretching. You prayed for increase and God is answering through separation. You prayed for strength and God is answering through challenge. Stop resisting the process. It's working for you, not against you. When God says it's all coming your way, He's not only talking about material blessings. He's talking about restoration of peace, renewal of purpose, revival of confidence. He's talking about the inner transformation that prepares you to carry out success with grace. Because what good is abundance if your heart is anxious? What good is success if your spirit is restless? The true blessing of God is peace that surpasses circumstances. A peace that says, even if nothing changes, I am still whole because I know who holds my life. Relax because God's plan is never fragile. What He has written for your life cannot be erased by mistakes, failures, or human interference. You might think you've gone too far or fallen too hard, but God is never limited by your weakness. He uses even your detours as directions. He turns even your losses into lessons. When you relax, you give God permission to turn your story into something sacred. The cracks in your life become the channels for His light to shine through. There is a power that flows from complete surrender. It's the kind of peace that says, I may not know what's next, but I trust the one who does. It's not the peace that comes from everything going right. It's the peace that remains when everything goes wrong. That peace is not fragile. It's unbreakable because it's built on the foundation of trust in God's character. Once you understand who God is, you stop fearing what might happen because you realize that even what seems against you will eventually work for you. God never wastes pain. Every heartbreak, every disappointment, every silent night, it all becomes part of a greater story. You think you're waiting on God, but often God is waiting on you to stop worrying, to stop doubting, to stop trying to control what only He can change. The moment you truly relax, the moment you fully let go, you'll feel the shift. Doors will open, peace will rise, what was stuck will move, what was broken will begin to heal. Do not mistake stillness for inactivity. God is never idle. Even when you are resting, He is working. When you sleep, He is arranging. When you're quiet, He's speaking to others on your behalf. When you release control, He takes over with precision. The unseen hand of God is always writing new chapters. You don't need to force what He is already forming. Relax and let His timing reveal its beauty. And know this, when the blessing finally comes, it will not come with confusion. The peace of God will accompany it. You won't have to chase or compete. What is meant for you will fit effortlessly. The right people will enter your life without drama. The right doors will open without resistance. The right opportunities will find you without striving. That is the signature of divine alignment. Ease, flow, and peace. Relax, because the universe is not against you. It's obeying divine command. Everything that is meant for your purpose is being drawn toward you. Every delay has an appointed day of manifestation. Every unseen effort will soon bear visible fruit. You are not forgotten. You are being prepared. God never skips preparation because what is built fast falls fast. But what is built in patience stands forever. The waiting season is sacred. It's where faith matures. It's where trust deepens. It's where you learn that God is not just the giver of blessings. He is the blessing Himself. When you finally understand that, you stop chasing outcomes and start cherishing presence. Music. You stop needing everything to happen now. And instead, you rest in the assurance that whatever God chooses to do, whenever He chooses to do it, it will be perfect. You may be surrounded by uncertainty, but your foundation is unshakable. You may not know what tomorrow holds, but you know who holds tomorrow. So rest, relax. The same God who painted the skies, who controls the tides, who commands the stars, is managing the details of your life with precision. Nothing is missing. Nothing is broken. Nothing is wasted. The energy you have been spending on worry, redirect it into worship. The time you've been using to complain, use it to thank. Gratitude accelerates divine movement. When you thank God in advance, you declare trust in His promise before you see its fulfillment. That kind of faith moves mountains. Gratitude turns waiting into worship and delay into destiny. When you can say, thank you, God, even before it comes, that's when the blessings start chasing you down. So relax, not because everything is easy, but because everything is divine. Relax not because you understand, but because you trust. Relax not because life is predictable, but because God is dependable. You don't have to know how it will happen. You just need to know that it will. You don't have to see the path. You just have to walk in faith. Everything that is meant for you is coming peacefully, powerfully, and perfectly because God Himself has decreed it. So now, take a deep breath and let peace settle in your heart. Stop fighting battles that belong to God. Stop trying to carry what His hands already hold. You have done enough, prayed enough, believed enough. Now it's time to rest in quiet confidence. God has not forgotten you, and He has not changed His mind about you. Everything you have been waiting for, working toward, and crying over is already making its way to you. But hear this clearly, this is not an ordinary message. This is a divine instruction from above. Asterisk, asterisk, God says, be still. It's all coming your way. Asterisk, asterisk, you have prayed like a warrior, wept through your fasting, and held on to faith through storms that tried to break you. And still, heaven's silence made you uneasy. But remember this, asterisk, asterisk, the silence of God is never the absence of God. Asterisk, asterisk, sometimes His greatest works unfold in quiet places. Even when you see nothing, God is moving. Even when you feel nothing, He is aligning, arranging, and orchestrating everything your eyes cannot yet see. The doors are about to open. The answers are about to be revealed. The blessings are about to overflow. Asterisk, asterisk. Rest easy, asterisk, asterisk. Not because life is simple, but because asterisk, asterisk, God reigns over it all. Asterisk, asterisk, be calm. Not because you have every detail figured out, but because you trust the one who directs your every step. When you stop striving, you create room for miracles. When you choose peace, you step into divine power. So let go of every burden, stand firm in faith, and walk with quiet confidence because God is saying to you, asterisk, asterisk, be still. Everything you've been waiting for is on its way.